Hey, this is Kristi Hust, creator of Blissen Natural Skincare and Cosmetics. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own loose mineral blush at home. Today I have the color that I call Knockout. It's kind of a brownish rose color, and this is a matte blush color. So how I do this is I actually do it in two phases. First, I create the base. Now you can see it's just kind of a white powder at this point, and it helps to distribute the pigments, these bright colors here. So for the base, I'm going to use 3 different ingredients. I have kaolin. This is a clay mineral. It produces a nice silky feeling to the blush, and it also helps it adhere to your skin so it doesn't just flake off and show no color. The second ingredient is cerussite. It's a mica that has not been colored or treated yet. I like to use that. It helps to distribute the pigments throughout the product. And it also gives a tiny bit of shimmer, not much though, not enough to show in this matte blush. And then the third ingredient is arrowroot powder. This also helps to give it a nice silky feeling, and it distributes the pigments as well. And it's also really, all of these ingredients are good for your skin, so you don't have to worry about that, unless you have an allergy, of course. So when I do this, I want to fill this up quite a ways, so I'm going to use a half of a cup of each. That's the basic ratio, is 1 to 1 to 1. You're going to use equal amounts of each ingredient. If you're just starting out and kind of playing around with this, what you might want to do is start out with a 1/4 cup of each, or even maybe just a tablespoon of each if you don't want to waste ingredients in your trial and error phase. Now when I do the matte base, what I like to do is blend it all together in my NutriBullet. This is great for grinding up any clumps that might be in there. You don't have to do this phase, but your finished product won't be quite as smooth and fluid, I guess. So that's what I'm going to do today. This is my Cosmetics designated NutriBullet. I didn't make my protein smoothie in here this morning, so don't worry about that getting in here. So first I got my kaolin clay. I'm going to get a half a cup, and I'll just dump it right into the NutriBullet container. You can see what I'm doing here. Sorry about that. Then I have my cerussite mica. I'm going to clean my cup a little bit so I don't transfer ingredients. Okay, so I want a half a cup of the cerussite. And then a half a cup of the arrowroot. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but I've got dust particles. I have particles floating. And if you have respiratory issues, or you just don't want the particles to get in your lungs, you might consider putting on a mask to keep the dust out of your lungs. It does fly around, so something to keep in mind if you're concerned about that. If you're doing a lot of this stuff, you should probably wear one. When I do a bunch of batches at a time, I put a mask on. And then there's my half a cup of arrowroot powder. All right. And then if you don't have a NutriBullet and you still want to blend it, if you're doing a small batch, you can try to use a coffee grinder as long as it's pretty clean. Or if you're doing a large batch, you can blend it together in a food processor. The main thing to keep in mind is that you want your container to seal tight. Otherwise, the dust particles can get in the motor and clog it up, and you don't want to ruin your appliances that way. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on the NutriBullet. It only takes a few seconds to really blend it all together. All right. I'm going to give that a second to settle, because if I take the lid off now, it's going to kind of make a cloud of smoke. So I'll get this ready. I'm just going to put it directly into my storage container for my matte base. And I would recommend having a separate container that you can keep your main base, and then you can just play around and add different actual pigments to it as you go and want to try new colors. I'm afraid I'm going to make a mess here. Maybe I'll do this later. It might take me a while to get it in there good, but you got the idea. Now, to actually make the color, I'm going to take, oh, I guess I can't do that. I need this. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I managed to make a fine mess here, as you can see. I tend to do that. That's okay, though. So, now we're going to add the pigment to our base. So, for this recipe, I'm going to make another mess, aren't I? I'm going to put 2 tablespoons. Yes, I am always this messy. It's kind of hard to work with this stuff without having it fly all over the place. I'm going to put it right in my NutriBullet again because I'm going to blend those pigments in so they're evenly distributed. So, as I said, I'm going to put 2 tablespoons of my base into the NutriBullet. And then I'm going to put a 1/4 teaspoon of brown oxide. This pigment is amazing how potent it is. You don't use a ton. Start out small and build your way up if you need more color, but always start with as little as possible, because if you overdo it, then you end up having to use another cup of your base to dilute it out. But I've done this recipe before, so I kind of know what to put in there. So a 1/4 cup, or sorry, not a 1/4 cup, a 1/4 teaspoon of the brown oxide. I'm going to add it to my base. And then I'm going to do 2 mini scoops. These are kind of like little makeup measuring cups, or measuring spoons. I found these at TKB Trading, where I get most of my pigments from. They're pretty handy. If you're not doing this professionally, you can just kind of guesstimate, but I'm going to do 2 little mini scoops of this is red oxide, and it's the red shade. They also have a red oxide that has a blue shade. This is the red oxide red. And what it is, it's an iron oxide. Both of these pigments are. The thing about iron oxides is that they do tend to clump, so I really recommend blending them if you have any means to do so. So again, this is just going to take a few seconds in the NutriBullet. Shake it up a little bit and give it another run. All right, so I'll let that settle for just a minute while I clean up some of my other stuff here. Okay, so now it's done. That's the finished product here, and we just have to put it in our container. Now, it's going to stay a loose mineral blush like this. So what I really like to use are these little blush sifters, and I also got these from TKB Trading. I love that place. And no, I'm not an affiliate. I just like their stuff. So here's the container. It's got the sifter lid on there, and then you can also get the lids for it. And I forgot to get out my little baby spoon that I like to use. This is the easiest, oh, you can see the particles floating. The easiest way to transfer this stuff and get in the little container is to use a metal baby spoon. Now I'm actually gonna weigh mine. You don't have to if you're just doing this for yourself, but I put 5 grams, about 5 grams of this will fit in my little container. Maybe my scale will work today. All right. So this is the color, if you can see it, kind of a brown rose color. It looks nice on medium complexions. Might be a little dark for fair skin, and it might be fairly invisible if you have really dark or tan skin. And this amount will fill almost 3 of these little containers. You can't really do much less than this though to just make it for 1, and because that pigment is so intense, you'd have to use just like a few specks of it if you wanted to make just 1 container. So I'm trying to get this right at 5 grams. We're close. All right, there we go. And then I just kind of tap it down into place. And it looks like I actually kept the container clean. I did good there. And then this just pushes down into there. You want to get it on there nice and tight. Once you get it on, they're really hard to get off. So make sure you are done with what you want to do before you put that sifter on. And then I don't know if you've ever bought loose mineral makeup before to know this, but there's a little seal on there. See that little tag? That's just a sticker seal, so the stuff doesn't come out until you're ready to use it. And that comes already like that if you order it through TKB Trading. So that is it for our matte blush. This is, again, the knockout color. So if you would like more recipes and tips on natural skincare and cosmetics, feel free to visit BlissenNaturals.com. And if you enjoyed this video today, I'd appreciate it if you like it on YouTube and share on social media with your friends. Thank you so much for watching.